After my rebirth, I deliberately stayed away from my crush, to skip the chance to share a fancy car with her. I kept reminding myself I'm just a driver's son. But when Guing Han stared at the empty seat beside her, she called the driver uncle for the first time. "Uncle Mu, are you leaving already?" Uncle Mu was totally shocked. "Miss, is there something you need?" Guing Han felt annoyed for no reason. "Aren't we waiting for Mu Chen today?" "No. Mu Chen just texted me, saying he's got stuff to do with his classmates. He'll take the bus home later by himself." Guing Han's face fell. Things are actually different after I got reborn. What could Mu Chen possibly be busy with? He never used to miss any chance to ride in the car with me. In my past life, every day at this time, he was scared of making me wait too long. He'd always get in the car early and wait nicely. But this is actually fine. In my past life, Mu Chen and I dated for 5 years. Later, that became a thorn in Chen Zai's side. Since I get a second chance at life, I have to keep my distance from Mu Chen. That day, I walked for over 2 hours before I got to the Gu family's old mansion. I walked around the Gu family's yard and went into the servants' quarters. Guing Han was on the second-floor balcony of the main villa when she spotted me. Her eyes followed me as I walked. Then she called out my name directly. I was wearing earbuds, so I didn't hear her call me. So I pretended I didn't hear anything and went straight back to the small building. Guing Han's face was icy. She headed towards the servants' building. Right when I walked in and was closing the door, she held the door open. "Mu Chen, didn't you hear me calling you?" I was kind of annoyed at what she did. "I was wearing earbuds just now. I didn't hear you call me. So is there something you need from me?" Guing Han then realized she was reborn. We've only known each other for a little while now. We're not close at all. "After class today, why didn't you take Uncle Mu's car?" My tone was cold and distant. "Are you kidding me? You're the employer. My dad is your driver. Someone like me has no right to ride with you. I didn't know my place before. That won't happen again. I hope Miss Gu doesn't blame my dad for this." Guing Han's face turned cold immediately. "It's good that you know your place. If the old master asks about you later, you explain it to him yourself. It's not like I kicked you off the car." Then she slammed the door and left. I stayed totally calm. I will never make the same mistakes again in this life. I already applied for on-campus housing, but I have to wait a few more days for a spot to open up. The next day, I got up early to wait for the bus by the road. Guing Han had just woken up when she saw me leaving for school from the balcony. She stared at my back, her expression unreadable. "Don't think you can get my attention by doing this." A few minutes later, the bus arrived. It was super crowded on the bus. I had to squeeze through the crowd to get to the back. I just found a spot to stand when I felt someone push me from behind. I turned around and saw a middle-aged man standing behind me, and he smiled at me. I wanted to move to another spot, but the guy confidently refused to move. He insisted on standing right next to me. Right at that moment, a stunning girl came out of nowhere, carrying a potted cactus as she pushed through the crowd. She kept saying, "Excuse me," while using the spiky cactus to clear her way. She quickly pushed her way to the middle-aged man. The guy didn't move fast enough. His hand got pricked by the cactus. "Are you crazy? Who brings a cactus on a bus? Watch where you're going, will you?" The girl stood right where the guy was standing before and apologized super half-heartedly. "Oops, sorry. Won't happen again." "Thanks for understanding." The guy glanced at me, then turned around angrily and moved to another spot. I looked at the girl, and she was looking down at me right then. Her expression was sharp, like she was looking at a total idiot. I stared back at her for a few seconds and couldn't help asking, "Were you making fun of me?" The girl paused for a second. "Be careful when you take this bus in the future. There are a lot of creeps like that around. I've seen them a bunch of times." I realized just then she was helping me out earlier. "Thanks for helping me. I'm Mu Chen. I study opera script writing at University A. What about you?" "Su Xiawei. I go to University B across the street. I study farming." As we were talking, the bus arrived at the stop. University A and University B are only 2 blocks apart. After getting off the bus, I was about to say something to thank her when I saw Su Xiawei take a long stride and head quickly to the school across the street. I turned around too and went back to my school for class and didn't think much about this whole thing. This year's school welcome party is extra lively. Guing Han is the finale performer this time. Everyone is dying to see what the little princess of the Nancheng Gu family really looks like. Only I'm totally uninterested in this, because I don't want to see Guing Han. But Shen Haoxuan insisted on dragging me along with him. We only get this once in a lifetime. We worked so hard to get into college. If we don't go, our college experience won't be complete. Shen Haoxuan dragged me straight to a seat in the third row. A senior from the logistics department is moving snacks and pastries. He's totally swamped with work. And he happened to see me. So he begged me to help carry this box of bread to the backstage, to hand out food to the performers who don't have time to eat. I took the box of bread, walked around the crowd, and headed to the backstage. Lots of seniors who are about to perform are waiting backstage. I put the bread on the table by the door and glanced subconsciously at the dressing room inside. In my past life, I came to the backstage on purpose to get Guing Han a berry-flavored bread she likes. 'Cause Guing Han is allergic to peanuts, and a lot of those breads are nut-flavored. I was scared she'd grab the wrong one, have an allergic reaction after eating it, and mess up the performance. But this time, I don't even care what happens to her. She's a grown adult after all. It's not like she can't even read the word nut, right? Inside the dressing room, for some reason, Guing Han hasn't left for a long time. Until someone knocked on the dressing room door. Song Yutong was about to get up to open the door, but Guing Han was faster than her. She walked quickly to open the door and said in a cold voice, "I don't want any..." But before she finished speaking, she paused. "Who are you looking for?" The boy outside the door was startled by Guing Han's expression. "Miss Gu, I heard you have a performance tonight." With a loud bang, Guing Han slammed the door shut with a foul look on her face. She turned around and sat back on the sofa. The aura around her was cold enough to freeze someone to death. Song Yutong scratched her head. "Guing Han, don't you like Zhao Yanchen?" Guing Han froze for a second. "I didn't see him clearly just now." "Didn't see him clearly? Then who did you think he was?" Guing Han didn't answer. She was super annoyed right now. Why hasn't Mu Chen come yet? He was definitely already here by this time in my past life. Finally, she couldn't wait any longer. Guing Han finally got up and walked out the door, only to see people outside already handing out bread. Song Yutong came back with some bread. "Have a bite to fill your stomach first. We don't have enough time to go out for a meal now. Let's go eat after the performance is over." Guing Han took the bread and looked at it, and found out it was nut-flavored. Her face got even more unpleasant. It wasn't until she got on stage to sing that Guing Han finally saw me. All the guys in the audience were cheering for Guing Han's appearance, while I was looking down at my phone, probably annoyed by the noise. I even put on my headphones directly. After Guing Han finished singing First Love, the atmosphere at the scene was completely hyped up. Lots of people went on stage with flowers to give to her. Guing Han had already received several bouquets, but she didn't step off the stage immediately. For some reason she couldn't explain, she kept glancing in my direction without meaning to. Right then, in the third row of the audience, Shen Haoxuan came back holding 2 bouquets of flowers and stuffed 1 bouquet into my arms. "Mu Chen, I'm going to give flowers to Guing Han. Want to come with me?" I gave the flowers back to Shen Haoxuan. "Are you kidding me? Give flowers to Guing Han. I'd rather give them to a dog." I glanced at the stage and suddenly remembered Song Yutong helped me a lot in my past life. So I said, "Fine. Let's go, we'll go together." Right then, Guing Han on the stage suddenly remembered that she didn't take my flowers in her past life. She should take them this time. After all, she knows I really like her. Even though she doesn't love me, she still has a little affection for me. Guing Han stood there, her eyes fixed firmly on me as I walked up the stage holding flowers. She didn't even realize it herself, that when I walked up to her, she naturally freed up one hand and reached out to take my flowers, but I walked right past her unexpectedly and handed the flowers to Song Yutong, who was behind Guing Han. I said with a smile, "Your performance just now was amazing. Can I give this bouquet to you?" Song Yutong froze for 2 seconds before standing up to take the flowers. "Of course, thank you so much." I turned around and walked off the stage right after giving her the flowers. I didn't even spare a glance for Guing Han. Song Yutong caught Guing Han's gaze. She looked totally confused. Guing Han suddenly turned to her. "What's going on between you and Mu Chen?" Song Yutong was so annoyed and confused. What could possibly be going on? I barely even know him. "Guing Han, do you think he's doing all this stuff on purpose to get your attention?" Who does he think he is? Like I'd ever pay attention to him. It was already 10 p.m. when I got back to the Gu family mansion. Mu's dad came over to ask me right away when he saw me come in. "Mu Chen, did you see Miss Gu at school today?" "She didn't ask me to pick her up today." "It's already past 10 now. She still hasn't come home." and her phone is turned off. Mrs. Gu is looking everywhere for her right now. I took out my phone and opened the school's new student group chat. Tell Mrs. Gu not to worry. They probably went out for karaoke. All right, I'll go let her know right now, so she doesn't send someone to ask you later. In the photos posted in the group chat, I saw Guing Han sitting next to a really good-looking guy. That's Chenzo. I knew they'd end up together. The next morning, Guing Han staying out all night last night made Mrs. Gu really mad. I was scared Mrs. Gu would drag me in for questioning, so I got up super early and left the house. After I got on the bus, I spotted Su Xiawei right away. Today, Su Xiawei was carrying a pot of super glossy, translucent succulent. I was a little worried I'd run into that middle-aged guy from before, so I walked right over to Su Xiawei and greeted her with a smile. Su Xiawei quietly moved over to make space for me, pretty much shielding me on the inside. I was really grateful for how thoughtful she was. I struck up a conversation first. Senior Su, what's this plant you're holding? It's so pretty. I stared at it for ages, but I didn't reach out to touch it. This succulent looks exactly like the gift I got when I graduated in my past life. Su Xiawei said, it's called Neon Haworthia cooperi. Do you like it? I nodded. Yeah, it's like a crystal, so pretty. Before I could finish talking, Su Xiawei pushed the Haworthia right towards me. Take it, it's for you. I reached out to take it without thinking. Totally shocked. You're really giving this to me? Su Xiawei didn't show any emotion on her face. You said you like it, right? Just take it, I have tons of these at home. Oh right, that's when I remembered. She's a student at the College of Agriculture. She's probably really good at growing these plants. Last time I saw her, she was carrying a cactus too. Besides, a succulent like this probably isn't that expensive anyway. I took it happily. Thanks, Senior Su. I'll buy you milk tea next time. Su Xiawei stared at me with a quiet, unreadable look, then pulled out her phone. Don't go back on your word then. Let's add each other as friends first. I took out my phone too and added her. Sure, I won't break my promise. Soon the bus arrived at my stop. This time Su Xiawei didn't leave right away. She actually stopped specifically to say goodbye to me. I was a little surprised. After I waved back to Su Xiawei, I carried the succulent and headed to class. Shen Haoxuan rushed in right on time and sat down next to me. He looked super excited. I stayed up late last night scrolling gossip in the group chat. I heard the little princess of the Gu family is dating the campus hunk from Polytechnic University. Obviously, I knew that campus hunk is Chen Zi. Chen Zi was supposed to study abroad, but he couldn't go because something happened to his dad. He had no choice but to take the college entrance exam and ended up going to Polytechnic University. School just started, and things are still bad for Chen Zi's family. He wants to lock down Guing Han, the super rich heiress. And Guing Han fought with her family over Chen Zi and refused to study abroad too. They're perfect for each other, both getting what they want. They're probably all over each other at Chen Zi's rented apartment right now. Shen Haoxuan saw how calm I was and was kind of annoyed. Mu Chen, are you not shocked at all? Guing Han is actually dating someone. What does the rich lady's business have to do with me? If you have time to gossip, you'd be better off picking up another part-time job. Shen Haoxuan nodded. Fair enough. The rich lady can date whoever she wants. After a little while, Shen Haoxuan spoke again. Mu Chen, is this neon succulent yours? Dude, you were just complaining to me about being broke, and you're carrying a plant that costs 4 figures to class. I was shocked too. Are you kidding me? Such a tiny pot of succulent. There's no way it costs 4 figures. Shen Haoxuan stared at it carefully for a full minute. Are you kidding? It's way more than that. It's worth at least 5 figures for sure. I searched online for ages. Turns out this succulent is really expensive. With this quality, Su Xiawei must have put a lot of work into raising it. Then I took out my phone, found Su Xiawei's WeChat, snapped a pic of the neon light Haworthia, and sent it to her. Hey senior, when do you finish class this afternoon? I'll bring this pot of plant back to you, Su Xiawei replied with a question mark. Don't you like it? I already gave it to you. Why are you returning it? This is way too expensive. Plus, I'm scared I'll kill it. I'd better give it back to you. Quite a while later, Su Xiawei finally texted back saying no. Then I got a forwarded message from her of care tips for the neon light Haworthia. Just follow these tips to raise it. Hit me up if you have questions. I turned off my phone and looked at the succulent in front of me. The look in my eyes totally changed. But that's not even the end of it. Shen Haoxuan suddenly stared at my neon light Haworthia and said another thing. Whoa, Mu Chen. Why does your pot look like agate? I pressed my hand to my chest. All right, stop talking already. I had no classes in the afternoon. I carried it like it was a precious treasure the whole time and brought this potted plant back to my room. My stepmom Zhang Lan, who lives next door, stood outside the window calling for me. Mu Chen, Mrs. Gu is asking for you. The second I heard Mrs. Gu's name, I felt annoyed on instinct. In my past life, during the 5 years I was with Guing Han, Mrs. Gu would always pick on me when Guing Han wasn't around. The dorm I applied for won't be available for another week, so I have to stay here for 1 more week. I walked up to Mrs. Gu and asked politely, "What would you like me to do, madam?" If it's within my ability, I won't say no. Guing Han skipped class again. The counselor called me today and said, she hasn't shown up to class for 2 days. The semester just started. Mrs. Gu sounded absolutely heartbroken, but I didn't feel a thing. Because I know the school counselor would never call Mrs. Gu to tell her Miss Gu skipped class. Who dares to mess with the Gu family's little princess? Who dares to care if she goes to class or not? Gu Chen goes to the same school as Guing Han, right? They even have some overlapping classes together. Can you help me keep an eye on her? The second she skips class, text me and let me know. Come on, let's add each other's contact first. I know full well that Mrs. Gu isn't actually mad at Guing Han for skipping class. She's mad because she skipped class to go on a date with Chen Zi. This happened before in my past life. But back then I had a crush on Guing Han. So I told her about this arrangement. So Guing Han would go to the classroom first every time, wait for me to take a pic for Mrs. Gu to check in, then leave. Later, when Mrs. Gu found out about this, she took all her anger out on me. This time I'm not helping Guing Han again. I was just about to refuse. Zhang Lan reached out and patted my back. It's just taking photos for Miss Gu, right? It's not that hard. Don't worry, madam. Mu Chen will definitely do it. As she spoke, she pulled up her WeChat, scanned Mrs. Gu's QR code, then sent me Mrs. Gu's contact card. I followed Zhang Lan out with a grim look on my face. I'm not doing the photo thing. You're the one who agreed to it. You do it yourself. Then I turned around and went back to my room. I know what Mrs. Gu is up to. A while back, I was actively trying to get close to Guing Han. There's no way Mrs. Gu didn't notice that. And Guing Han hates being monitored more than anything. So she's making me take secret photos of Guing Han. That way, Guing Han will hate me, and it'll stop Guing Han from getting close to Chen Zi. It was a little past 10 p.m. Guing Han finally came home. She got into a fight with Mrs. Gu the second she walked in. They fought for almost an hour. Guing Han stormed out of the villa fuming and headed straight for the pavilion next to the small building. The pavilion faces my bedroom window directly. In my past life, I'd often secretly watch Guing Han from the window. Guing Han stared at the window with cold, heavy eyes, counting in her head. Every time she got to around 20, the driver's son would come out to look for her, either to bring her food, or an umbrella, or just to check on her. But unexpectedly, there was a soft thud. The window she was staring at suddenly shut. Then the curtain was drawn too. Guing Han froze for a second. She looked totally stunned. She walked to the window with a sullen face and knocked a few times. I didn't expect Guing Han to come knock on the window. I stood inside the house for a few seconds before walking out. Miss Gu, you're looking for me? Guing Han stared at me with a complicated expression. Why did you close the window? Duh, obviously to protect my privacy. It's not good if people see what's inside, right? Guing Han's face was icy cold. I'm not acting the way I did in my previous life anymore. But she was sure this was just me, pulling a silly trick to get her attention. Fine then. You keep the window closed forever. Don't ever open it. I glared at her back. Ugh, this grumpy rich miss is so annoying. Guing Han suddenly stopped in her tracks and turned around. My mom told you to take photos of me in class, right? I froze for a second. How did you know that? Relax, I'm not going to sneak photos of you. I never did before, and I never will in the future. Guing Han snorted coldly. There was a subtle look in her eyes as she stared at me. She spoke after a few seconds. You can take photos. Just do it if she tells you to. I'm not skipping class anyway. With that, she turned around to leave the yard. She thought back to her past life. I had helped her brush off Mother Gu and got chewed out for ages. She didn't want me to get yelled at like that again this time, but she didn't expect me to suddenly call out to her. Wait a second. Guing Han stopped walking again. I knew it look crossed her face. She was right, I still had a thing for her. She asked arrogantly, What do you want? Only to see me pointing my phone camera at her. Miss Gu, you just said I can take photos of you, right? Can you say that again, please? So I don't get blamed for it later. Guing Han was furious. I said you can take photos. Take as many as you want. Is that good enough for you? With that, she turned around and strode off. I saved the video happily, satisfied, then went to sleep peacefully. Little did I know that Guing Han was so angry she didn't sleep a wink all night. Next day, Guing Han had an early morning class. After getting in the car, she habitually glanced to the left. I, who was supposed to be sitting there waiting for her nicely, wasn't in the car again. The car hadn't been driving long before. It passed me as I was walking on the sidewalk. Guing Han's gaze immediately landed on the milk bottle in my hand. I've always loved drinking milk in the morning. Every day when I wake up, I put 2 bottles of milk in warm water to keep them warm, then take them to drink in the car when I leave. Guing Han hadn't had that brand of milk in ages. She stared for 2 seconds, then suddenly said, "Stop the car." Then she said to me outside the window, "Get in," but I shook my head. "Thanks, Miss Gu. But no need. I'll just take the bus." This was the first time Guing Han had taken the initiative to be nice, and I actually turned her down. She snorted coldly. "Suit yourself." The car sped off. I also caught the bus right on time. Su Xiawei was indeed on the bus too. I walked over happily, a little surprised. "Good morning, senior." Su Xiawei quickly put her phone away. If I had looked a little closer, I would have seen she was just scrolling through my WeChat moments. I handed her one of the warm milk bottles. "This is for you, senior." Su Xiawei and I had taken the bus together a few times, so we were pretty familiar with each other by now. She pulled out her phone to show me photos of her beautiful garden. After we got off the bus, she said to me, "I'll take you to my garden sometime when we have the chance. There's even a small fish pond there too." As we were talking, Su Xiawei suddenly stopped walking. I noticed something was off too. I looked up and saw Guing Han standing nearby with 2 of her friends, staring daggers at the milk in Su Xiawei's hand. Her friends next to her were making snarky, teasing remarks. "Guing Han, isn't that your driver's son? Didn't he used to follow you around all the time? Why's he hanging around someone else now?" The phrase "someone else" stung Guing Han hard. She had no idea I was reborn too right now. Guing Han stared at the milk in Su Xiawei's hand, then looked at me with a cold sneer. "Oh, so that's why you don't hitch a ride with me anymore? You got a crush on another girl now? Too good for me now, huh?" My face fell instantly. "Miss Gu, what the hell are you talking about?" "Huh? Did I say something wrong? When you first came to the Gu family, didn't you wait for me in the car super early every day? This milk, you've brought me things before too. Why is someone else delivering them now?" I thought about my old self. My expression turned pretty unsightly. I really regret ever liking Guing Han. Did she take the wrong pills or something today? Guing Han glanced Su Xiawei up and down a few more times. "You probably don't know this yet. He's my family's driver's son." I felt so awkward I could die. "I'm sorry, Senior Su." Su Xiawei reached out and ruffled my hair. "You don't have to apologize. You didn't do anything wrong at all. I know Guing Han has a terrible personality, but I really don't want to drag Su Xiawei into this. Senior, you should go to class now. Don't be late." Su Xiawei frowned and asked who she was. I stayed silent for 2 seconds. "She's a total psycho." Su Xiawei paused for a moment. She hesitated, then asked again, "Is she your girlfriend?" Of course not. Seeing how eagerly I was denying our relationship, Guing Han snorted coldly. Why would I ever go for a driver's son? I was burning with rage inside. "Oh right, you don't fancy a driver's son? Then who were you dating for 5 years? A ghost. Who asked you to have a crush on me anyway? Are you okay? If you're nuts, go see a doctor." Counting both of her lifetimes, this is the first time Guing Han has ever been cussed out by me. She was completely stunned. She stood there glaring at me. Guing Han finally shut her mouth. Su Xiawei also fell silent. I looked a little embarrassed. "Bye, Senior Su. I'm going to class now." "You should hurry too." I didn't wait for Su Xiawei's response. Turned around and ran straight into the school gate. I didn't dare look at Su Xiawei. I was scared I'd see shock and disdain in her eyes. When I was with Guing Han in my past life, I'd had enough of that kind of look. Guing Han stood there with a cold, dark face, staring at Su Xiawei unwillingly. Su Xiawei didn't look very happy either. She held the milk in her hand, glaring until my back disappeared. Then she turned around and left as well. We had a general ed class this morning. After I sat down, I opened up the chat with Su Xiawei's message page. I wanted to apologize. I hesitated forever, typing and deleting nonstop. In the end, I didn't send a single word. Because no matter what I said, nothing seemed appropriate. Just when I was about to turn off my phone, a message from Su Xiawei popped up. "What's up?" I only realized it then. I'd been typing for almost 10 minutes and didn't send a single word the whole time. The typing status on the chat probably had already been seen by Su Xiawei. My face turned red from embarrassment. "Senior, I'm really sorry about what just happened. I hope you don't take it to heart. Didn't I already tell you? This isn't your fault. You don't need to apologize." My eyes got a little red. Compared to Guing Han, Senior Su's personality is literally so nice. Guing Han said those things to Su Xiawei in that rude tone. I had no idea if Su Xiawei misunderstood anything. What if she thinks I'm some guy who hits on girls everywhere he goes? I was still thinking when someone walked past my desk and bumped into my table. I looked up and saw Guing Han walking past me with a cold face and sat down in the very back row. Guing Han actually came to class today. Isn't she going to hang out with Chenze anymore? What she said last night was actually true. After I froze for a few seconds, I grabbed my phone right away, took a photo of Guing Han who just sat down, then quickly sent it to Mrs. Gu. She said I could take photos and send them to Mrs. Gu to supervise her, so I might as well do it. The less trouble, the better. Guing Han had just sat down when Tang Xiaoran said to her, "Mu Chen just took a photo of you with his phone." Guing Han's face finally softened a little. I know I'm not blind. For the next 2 days, every time I had class with Guing Han, I would take a quick photo to perfunctorily finish the task Mrs. Gu gave me. Pretty soon, the rumor that I like Guing Han and take secret photos of her spread all over the university gossip groups. Shen Haoxuan was scrolling through the gossip groups, exposed records, and showed them to me. "They say you have a crush on Guing Han. Not only are you chasing her, you're also stalking her. Take photos of her during class. Take photos of her after class. Even when you have classes in different classrooms, you still run all the way over to take secret photos of her." I was speechless. She said lately when she's walking down the street, she keeps wondering why people keep peeking at her. Oh, so that's the reason. It's not as exaggerated as they say, right? Someone's deliberately smearing people with this whole thing. It's all a misunderstanding for me, because this rich young lady skips class all the time. So Mrs. Gu asked me to keep an eye on her. I have to take photos of her in class every day and send them to her. Shen Haoxuan looked totally stunned after hearing this. That kind of mom is way too scary. No wonder Miss Gu is so rebellious. Mu Chen, are you really not going to explain? Everyone is misunderstanding the whole situation. The things they're saying are super mean. I shook my head. Because I know the gossip about Guing Han won't last long in 2 weeks. Chenze will have to go abroad quickly because of a family emergency. Then Guing Han won't have any chance to skip class to meet him anymore. Mrs. Gu will be relieved then. And I won't have to take photos every day either. Just my luck, the thing I dread the most happens. When I was having lunch at noon, I ran into Guing Han again by pure coincidence. I thought it was pretty unlucky. In my past life, if I wanted to see her, I had to rack my brains to make fake chance encounters. But after I got reborn, I keep running into her for no reason at all. You've been taking photos of me these days, and you're not even going to report to me about it. She paused for a second. Guing Han stared at me meaningfully again. Did you save my photos in your album? I glanced at her with obvious disgust. You're the one who keeps skipping classes. That's why Mrs. Gu asked me to take photos of you for attendance check. Now you're attending classes properly every day. Mrs. Gu is very satisfied. What's there to report about? Relax, I didn't save them. Not a single photo of yours is saved. Guing Han's eyes flickered. She looked a little disappointed. You took so many photos, and you didn't save even one. What else? Why would I save your photos? To ward off evil spirits? Guing Han was so annoyed by my words that she laughed. I don't believe you, Mu Chen. Do you have a crush on me? And you just don't dare to admit it. I'll admit, in my past life, I really did like Guing Han back then, but now I'm 100% sure I don't. I took out my phone and opened my chat history with Mrs. Gu. If you don't believe me, you can check it yourself. Guing Han snatched the phone over and saw that in the chat history, it was all photos of her in and out of class. Every single one was a blurry backshot or side profile. There wasn't even a single front-facing photo. Guing Han's face darkened instantly. Good for you. You supervise me for her, take photos of me, and you don't even bother to take a photo of my face. How much do you hate seeing my face? I still kept a blank expression, because your face isn't even that good-looking anyway. Guing Han nodded with a cold sneer. Then tell me whose face is good-looking. Su Xiawei, why are you bringing up Senior Su out of nowhere? You call her Senior Su so intimately. I'm older than you too. Why don't you call me Senior? What's your relationship with her anyway? I reached out to grab the phone back. Whatever our relationship is, it's none of your business anyway. Guing Han's face was gloomy. She threw it hard and slammed the phone onto the ground. There was a loud crack. The phone screen shattered. I quickly picked up the phone. Guing Han, are you freaking crazy? The phone screen is broken. You have to pay for this. I'll send you the bill later. I hope Miss Gu won't refuse to pay up. I turned to leave after saying that I didn't want to stay with Guing Han for another second. Guing Han was so angry that she stamped her foot. Damn it. She was actually smug when she found out I was taking photos of her before. She thought I had a crush on her. That's why she let me take the photos. She thought I'd definitely sneak a look at the photos when I got back. But now she ended up making herself furious for no reason. I walked through the food street back to school when I left. I didn't know Su Xiawei from the opposite school. Was also having lunch on this street with her classmates today. Su Xiawei saw me first, but she didn't call out to me. She stayed at the agricultural college for a few hours this morning. There were mud spots all over her clothes. She didn't want to ruin her image in front of me. Besides, I looked like I was in a bad mood. After my figure disappeared into the crowd, Su Xiawei noticed that her desk mate, classmates were all staring at me too. Is he the one you were talking about? He looks like a well-behaved guy. I can't believe he's a stalker. Su Xiawei couldn't help but speak up. What are you guys talking about? What stalker? That big shot Guing Han? I don't know if you've heard of her. Rumor has it that her driver's son has a crush on her. He goes to the same school as her. He's been secretly taking photos of her these days. A classmate pulled up a post. Look, the Gu family's eldest daughter just enrolled 2 weeks ago, and she's already been snapped by a crazy admirer. The person who took the photos is this guy right here. The post clearly showed me holding a phone, taking a picture of Guing Han's back. Su Xiawei thought back to that day, what Guing Han said that morning. Does Mu Chen actually like Guing Han? She frowned. Either way, these posts are bad for Mu Chen's reputation. I should get someone to take them down. When I got back to school, I also saw that post accusing me of secretly photographing Guing Han, but the post got deleted really quickly. All news related to me was also wiped out completely. Shen Haoxuan was totally shocked. Is this how powerful the Gu family is? They can delete content across the entire internet. I stared at my phone hesitantly. I didn't think Guing Han was the one who did this. But if it wasn't Guing Han, who else would do something like this? On the third day, I just got to the classroom door. When I saw Guing Han hurrying down the stairs, it's Chenzi's birthday today. I'm going to buy him a present. Cover for me with my mom today, okay? I'll sit through all my classes properly tomorrow. She said it like it was totally obvious I'd agree. Like I was supposed to do whatever she asked. I held up my phone and snapped a photo of Guing Han. Then I said with a cold face, fine, you can go. I pulled up WeChat right after, getting ready to send this photo of her skipping class to Mrs. Go. Guing Han suddenly snatched my phone away. Why are you being like this? You're so unreasonable. I already told you. Today's Chenzi's birthday. I'll be back at 8 p.m. tonight. Is it that hard to cover for me with my mom? I sneered. Yeah, it's hard. Mrs. Gu isn't easy to fool. I know exactly what happens if you lie to Mrs. Go. I learned that lesson in my past life. Guing Han's eyes turned sharp. And you say you don't like me. When I said I was going to Chenzi's birthday just now, you were clearly jealous. Princess, narcissism is an illness. You should get that checked. Guing Han got so mad she turned around and left with my phone. I'll be back at 8 p.m. tonight. You can come get your phone from me then. I'll explain everything to my mom myself. I chased after her angrily. Guing Han quickly got in the car, then hit the gas and drove off. I'm stuck between Mrs. Gu and Guing Han. It's so frustrating being caught in the middle. I made up my mind I have to get my dad to quit his job. Then I'll pick up more part-time jobs to make money. I don't have my phone with me. So obviously I can't reach Mrs. Gu. I'll have to explain everything to her when I get back. Plus I can't take the bus without my phone. Or buy anything. I have to ask Shen Haoxuan for help today. To scan a shared bike for me to ride home. I thought Senior Su hasn't seen me in 3 days. She probably won't try to reach me anyway. Meanwhile, Su Xiawei got to the bus stop right on schedule. After waiting 10 minutes, she got on the bus that I would probably take when they got to a familiar stop. She immediately straightened up and stared at the front door. but even after the doors closed, she didn't see me get on. Su Xiawei looked really disappointed. Ever since the last time we got off the bus and ran into Guing Han. I haven't taken the bus again. Is he avoiding me? Or is he keeping his distance from me on purpose for Guing Han? After a while, she found my WeChat account and sent me a message. How's that neon Haworthia succulent doing lately? Remember to let it get some sun. But don't leave it in direct harsh sun, okay? After she sent this pretty casual message, she started nervously waiting for a reply, but the whole morning went by. Su Xiawei didn't get any response. She waited until evening. I still hadn't written back. Su Xiawei agonized over it all day, finally decided to send another message to ask, why aren't you replying? You didn't kill it, did you? This time she got a reply really fast. Stop texting Mu Chen from now on. Su Xiawei's face fell. She sent a question mark back. Then a red exclamation mark popped up. Did Mu Chen block her? No, that can't be right. Someone else took his phone and blocked her. Who was it, Guing Han? Does Mu Chen really like her? Are they together right now? After I said goodbye to Shen Haoxuan at the school gate, I rode the shared bike home alone. When I was waiting for the red light at the intersection, Su Xiawei, who was standing on the bus, saw me riding the shared bike. Su Xiawei looked totally shocked. I'm doing this just to avoid running into him. So I ride a shared bike to and from school. I rode the bike slowly, when I suddenly heard someone calling me from the roadside. It was a girl's voice, cold and low, and seemed to carry a hint of resentment, until a hand pressed on my handlebar. I stopped right away. I looked up and met Su Xiawei's eyes. Su Xiawei had a complicated look on her face. You've been riding a bike to and from school lately. That's such a long way. How long are you going to keep riding like this? She wanted to confirm with me whether I was worried Guing Han would get mad and didn't want to run into him on the bus. So I chose to ride a bike home. If that's the case, she would stop taking the bus from now on. I had no idea that I had blocked Su Xiawei on my WeChat already. Senior, what are you doing here? Su Xiawei said guiltily. Just passing by? What a coincidence, then. I walked alongside Su Xiawei while pushing my bike. I said honestly, when I came to school this morning, Guing Han took my phone away. I don't have my phone now, so I can't scan the bus pass. So I had to ask a classmate to scan one for me and ride the shared bike back slowly. Su Xiawei had been out of it all day, and she never expected to get this answer. You mean your phone is with Guing Han? I nodded. He skips classes a lot, so Madame Gu asked me to keep an eye on him. But he got really mad when he found out, so he took my phone away to stop me from contacting Madame Gu. Ha ha ha, so that's what happened. Su Xiawei felt relieved secretly. Luckily, she just decided to get off the bus and come talk to me to clear things up. Suddenly, tiny raindrops started falling from the sky. Su Xiawei looked up. It's raining, stop riding your bike. Let's find a place to take shelter first. Have you had dinner yet? I nodded obediently and said I already ate. Su Xiawei had to ask me again. Have you had milk tea today then? I thought this question was a little weird. I haven't had any today? Come on then, I'll buy you milk tea. The rain was already picking up, drizzling nonstop. Everyone on the street was running. Su Xiawei grabbed my hand and started running. There were already a lot of people taking shelter from the rain at the mall entrance. Su Xiawei tugged at my sleeve and squeezed our way in through the crowd. The vibe in the milk tea shop was a little awkward. Both of us silently watched the rain outside the window. Actually, we've only met a few times total. I didn't know what to say, and Su Xiawei was also lost in her own thoughts. I was dragged to the mall by Su Xiawei to take shelter from the rain, and I had no idea that Guing Han, who was celebrating Chenze's birthday, was actually super annoyed right now. Chenze knew that Guing Han had liked him for a long time, but he had been stringing Guing Han along this whole time and never agreed to date him. But recently he suddenly felt a sense of crisis because he found out that Guing Han cared more about that driver's son than he thought. Taking advantage of this birthday, Chenze directly made their relationship official with Guing Han, but he didn't expect that after hearing this. Guing Han didn't look happy at all. He looked at the heavy rain outside the window, frowning slightly. He took out a phone with a cracked screen from his pocket. Chenze looked at the phone in Guing Han's hand in shock, and alarm bells immediately went off in his head. Guing Han, whose phone is this? Guing Han was really irritable. Mu Chen is that driver's son from your family, right? Why is his phone with you? Guing Han pressed the phone's power button and saw that it was already 8:40. He took Mu Chen's phone this morning to stop Mu Chen from snitching to Madame Gu about him skipping class to hang out with Chen Zi outside. He literally forcefully took the phone from him. It's so late now, and it's still raining outside. He had no idea how Mu Chen was doing. Guing Han felt even more annoyed. He wanted to stay with Chen Zi, but he also had to go back home. Finally, he said to Chen Zi, "Why don't you come home with me? Stay at my place tonight. I'll drive you to school tomorrow." Chen Zi was stunned for a second. He had only been to the Gu family's old house when he was a kid, and never went again after he grew up. It seemed like Guing Han really wanted to make their relationship official this time. It was already 9:30 p.m. when the two of them got back. The first thing Guing Han said to the housekeeper was, "Ask Mu Chen to come see me." "Miss, Mu Chen hasn't come back yet." "He's still not back." Guing Han got pissed off right away. She had my phone with her. She promised me she'd be back by 8 p.m., so she rushed all the way back with Chen Zi from the hotel. "Turns out I didn't even come back myself." The housekeeper hurried to explain. "Miss, it's really late and it's pouring outside. Mu Chen probably didn't bring an umbrella. I'll call him to ask where he is. Let driver Mu go pick him up." The housekeeper just dialed the number. The phone of mine in Guing Han's pocket suddenly started ringing. She shut the phone off in frustration. "Leave him alone. He can buy an umbrella if he doesn't have one, right?" At this point, it hit her. "I don't have a phone. How can I buy an umbrella?" "Fine, I'll go to the school to pick him up." The housekeeper stopped her immediately. "Miss, you'd better not go. Mrs. Gu has been waiting for you this whole time. Mrs. Gu has been furious all day today because she couldn't get a hold of Guing Han, and she couldn't reach me either. Now she sees Guing Han actually came back with Chen Zi. She's totally pissed off now." The housekeeper then looked at Chen Zi. "Mr. Chen, I've already arranged a guest room for you. Why don't you go back to your room to rest first?" Chen Zi looked at Guing Han, looking a little wronged. "Guing Han, can I go to your room?" The housekeeper thought that was inappropriate. Mrs. Gu is already furious right now. That'll just add fuel to the fire. But Guing Han ignored the old housekeeper's warning gaze and said, "Sorry, I can't hang out with you for now. You go rest in my room first. I'm gonna go see my mom." Meanwhile, Su Xiawei and I were sitting in a coffee shop. Su Xiawei offered a suggestion first. The rain won't stop anytime soon. Instead of sitting here waiting, we might as well go upstairs to watch a movie. I don't think we're close enough to watch a movie together yet. Senior, you don't have to stay with me, actually. I can just wait here for the rain to stop by myself. Don't you remember last time you were on the bus and ran into a creep? It's getting pretty late now. You're alone and you don't have a phone. That's super unsafe. Are you actually planning to ride your bike back?" Su Xiawei stared at me seriously. There was a hint of sternness in her eyes. I met her gaze. I shook my head subconsciously. Su Xiawei stood up right away. "Come on, let's go watch a movie. How about that super popular animated movie that came out recently?" That felt weird to me for some reason. Before I could even say anything, Su Xiawei was already looking down at her phone. "It starts in 20 minutes. We can still buy tickets now. Want some popcorn?" No, I'm good." My brain couldn't keep up with how fast Su Xiawei was moving. How come she just asked if I wanted to watch a movie, but already bought the tickets right away? All right, no popcorn then. Let's go upstairs first. I wanted to say something but stopped. I followed Su Xiawei obediently. Su Xiawei looked at me acting like this. She felt a little flutter in her heart. She admitted she was being a little cheeky, actually. I'm exactly her type. The first time she saw me on the bus that day, she already had a crush on me. She even planned how to pursue me step by step, but plans never keep up with changes. Now she just wants to speed things up. When the movie ended, it was almost 11 p.m. The rain outside had eased up a lot. Su Xiawei said apologetically, "I made you watch a movie with me. I didn't expect it to be this late when we left. Your family won't be worried, right?" I shook my head. "I called my dad from your phone already. He won't be worried. The movie just now was really great. It helped me forget all the Gu family drama for a while, but now I still have to go back and face Mrs. Gu's anger." Su Xiawei took out her phone. "You're going back to the Gu family's place, right? Give me the address. I'll call a taxi to take you home." It was 11:30 p.m. I finally got to the old Gu family residence. I got out of the car. I thanked Su Xiawei in the car and said goodbye. I felt a little bad. Senior Su is such a nice person. I watched the car drive off before turning toward the Gu house. I just walked through the gate. I was suddenly startled by a dark figure standing by the door. I was a little nervous. I turned around and saw Guing Han standing at the door looking gloomy and staring straight at me. Miss Gu, what are you doing standing here? Guing Han's voice was ice cold. Didn't I say to be back by 8 p.m.? Why are you so late? I've been thinking lately that Guing Han has been acting strange towards me. Miss Gu, this is my personal business. I don't need to report to you, right? Can you give me my phone back now? My slightly annoyed look made Guing Han feel upset. She took out the phone but didn't hand it to me right away. Instead, she stared at me with a straight face and asked, "Whose hat are you wearing?" I was stunned for a second before I realized I still had Su Xiawei's hat on my head. Oh, right. It rained tonight. I didn't have my phone, so I couldn't buy an umbrella. A kind senior lent me her hat. As I said that, I walked up to Guing Han and snatched the phone from her hand. Guing Han thought of the girl who took the bus with me earlier. Is she really just a kind senior? That hat costs thousands of bucks. Giving it away like that? She's really kind, huh? I froze mid-movement. No way, a hat costs thousands of yuan. Guing Han let out a sarcastic laugh. No wonder you didn't want to ride with me. You found a better person to suck up to, huh? Think whatever you want, LOL. If mocking me makes you feel better, I'll take it as doing a good deed for the day. Guing Han felt even worse. I've always been such a soft-spoken person. When did I become like this? She brought Chenza home tonight and already had a fight with Mrs. Gu. By the end of the fight, Guing Han stormed out and slammed the door. But I still hadn't come home. She couldn't get a hold of me. She didn't even care about Chenzi resting in her room. She just stood at the villa gate waiting for me. She never expected this is what she'd get. I walked inside and saw Chenzi standing at the gate of the Gu family's garden. Like he was waiting for someone. Chenzi trotted over to Guing Han. "Qing Han, I heard you arguing with your mom. I also heard her say she's going to kick me out. You didn't come back for so long. I was scared being alone here. Maybe you can drive me home tonight. I'm not staying here anymore. Your mom seems really upset." I watched this from the sidelines, coldly. Guing Han actually brought Chenza home. Is Mrs. Gu gonna have a heart attack from anger today? Guing Han hugged Chenza to comfort him. "Ace, you don't have to go back. I'm the one who brought you here. What right does my mom have to kick you out? Come back with me. If my mom says anything to you again, I'll go talk to Grandpa." Chenza relaxed after getting Guing Han's promise. I looked at Guing Han, who was totally lovesick, and wondered if she'd lost her mind. I turned around and went back to my room. When I took out my phone to find Su Xiawei's WeChat, I couldn't find it. Just then I got a friend request. It was Su Xiawei sending me a friend request. I frowned. When did I delete Su Xiawei? Did Guing Han do this? I tapped to accept the request, then sent her a message. "Hey, senior, did you get home safe?" Su Xiawei replied really fast. "You finally got your phone back, huh?" "Yeah, I'm home already. Thanks for asking." I hesitated for a long time, then decided to transfer 200 yuan to Su Xiawei first. "Thanks so much for today, senior. This is for the movie ticket and the fare. Hope you'll take it." Su Xiawei didn't accept the transfer. "You don't have to pay me back. I want you to treat me next time instead. Like to a movie or dinner, okay?" "Sure, senior. I'll treat you to dinner tomorrow." Su Xiawei was happy with my reply and secretly smiled to herself. Great, it's a deal. The next day, drama was about to unfold at the Gu family. Mrs. Gu got up very early, called for the housekeeper. What happened last night? Did Chenza not leave? Did they spend the night together? The butler reluctantly nodded. Miss wouldn't let us send Mr. Chen away. Mrs. Gu was furious, her face turning pale with anger. There's nothing wrong with Qing Han dating someone, but she can't get pregnant. Chenzi's dad is about to go to jail. Marrying into their family would be so unlucky. My grandchild can't have a grandpa who's been to prison. Mrs. Gu thought for a long time, then suddenly lifted her head. Go get some medicine from the family doctor. When I came out of my room, I accidentally overheard some maids talking in low voices. Madam seems in a good mood today. I thought when Mr. Chen came downstairs, Madam would get mad when she saw him. I didn't expect them to be eating together. A complicated look flashed across my eyes. In my past life, Guing Han never brought Chenze home. The two of them never made their relationship official even after going abroad. Not long after that, Guing Han started dating me. The first time I visited the Gu family's old house after we started dating. Mrs. Gu was also very polite to me and asked me to stay for dinner. Back then, I thought Mrs. Gu had truly accepted me, but it turned out Mrs. Gu had harmed his health. When Guing Han learned the truth, he only said he couldn't go against his mother. and brushed the whole thing off with that one line. This time, the person who got drugged is Chen Zi. I wonder what Guing Han will do. I snapped out of my thoughts and got ready to leave, but was stopped by the butler who rushed over. Ms. Mu Chen, Mrs. Gu would like to speak with you. Come with me first. I followed the butler to the front hall. Mrs. Gu was having breakfast with Chen Zi and Guing Han. Mrs. Gu looked at Chen Zi gently. It's not that I had a problem with you before. It's just that Guing Han is still too young. I was worried he'd neglect his studies because of a relationship. Mrs. Gu's attitude had changed drastically. Chen Zi found this a bit unbelievable. I understand, Auntie. I'll make sure Guing Han studies hard. Actually, even though they slept in the same bed last night, Guing Han didn't let Chen Zi touch him. Just then, Mrs. Gu pushed a bowl of bird's nest porridge in front of Chen Zi, her eyes full of affection. Have some porridge to nourish yourself. You're way too thin. Chen Zi took it with a smile and started eating the porridge obediently. Guing Han next to him was frowning tightly. Chen Zi was clearly right beside him, and his mother had accepted Chen Zi, but he couldn't figure out why he was still annoyed until I walked in. The moment Guing Han saw me, he immediately sat up a little straighter. I didn't look at him and asked Mrs. Gu politely, Did you ask for me, madam? Mrs. Gu smiled. I heard about what happened yesterday. Guing Han grabbed your phone to stop you from taking photos to monitor his classes, right? I nodded calmly. Guing Han frowned unhappily. Mom, are you going to make him keep an eye on me again? Mrs. Gu shook her head. Of course not. I just wanted to say, you can't bully Mu Chen like that. Why would you grab his phone for no reason? It's so inconvenient to not have a phone. With that, Mrs. Gu took out a new phone. I saw your phone screen was cracked, so I bought you a new one. It's also to thank you for keeping an eye on Guing Han these past few days. Starting today, you don't have to watch him anymore. Chen Zi will help me keep an eye on him. Chen Zi, who had finished the bird's nest porridge, smiled sweetly. Don't worry, Auntie. I'll definitely make him study hard. I sneered inwardly and said obediently on the surface, Thank you, madam. I'll head to school now. Guing Han immediately stood up as well. His movement's a little hasty. It's getting late. I need to go to school too. Chen Zi also stood up, but the next second he clutched his stomach, his face turning pale instantly. Guing Han, my stomach hurts so bad. Don't panic. I'll take you to the hospital right now. Driver, hurry and take us to the hospital. The driver saw from the rearview mirror that Chen Zi wasn't doing well and couldn't help asking, Mr. Chen, did you eat something bad? As soon as he finished speaking, Chen Zi said in a panic, No, I don't think so. I only had a bowl of bird's nest porridge today. With that, he looked at Guing Han in shock. Guing Han's face darkened because he finally remembered something from his past life. He remembered once he brought me back to the Gu family house, and after eating with his mother, I also had a terrible stomach ache. We did all kinds of tests back then, and it took 3 days to find out I'd taken an excessive dose of medicine. Guing Han had a huge fight with me over this. He thought I'd taken the medicine myself. I suspected Mrs. Gu did it back then, but Guing Han didn't believe me. Now Guing Han looked at Chen Zi's symptoms, which were exactly the same as mine in his memory. Chen Zi said weakly, Guing Han, could there be something wrong with that bowl of bird's nest I ate? Guing Han suddenly shouted, Stop the car, driver. You take AZ to the hospital first. I'll be there later. He strode back to the Gu family's old house. Meanwhile, Mrs. Gu was telling the maid to clear the dishes. Guing Han stared at the maid with a cold face. Wait, leave the bowl Chen Zi used. Mrs. Gu looked at Guing Han in surprise. Guing Han was terrifyingly gloomy. Tell me, the bird's nest that was in Chen Zi's bowl just now, did you slip something in it? Guing Han, you're such a hopeless, lovesick fool. Chen Zi has a stomachache, and you immediately suspect I drugged him. I'm your own biological mother. How can you doubt me like this? Right, in the past life, Mrs. Gu also used these exact lines to brush off Guing Han. Back then, Guing Han chose to take her mother's side, but now overwhelming regret and guilt have completely clouded her judgment. She dated me for 5 years and never got pregnant. Mrs. Gu said back then she didn't mind my humble background and agreed to let me marry into the Gu family, but only on the condition that we had a child first. Guing Han's chest heaves with rage. Fine, you are my real mother. You'd never do something like this. You said today you approve of me dating Chen Zi and will let us get married later, but only if we have our own child first. Am I right? Mrs. Gu freezes for a second. How did Guing Han find out about her plan? Guing Han sees her expression and yells hysterically. Are you even human? How can you be so vicious? I saw this Gu family farce coming, but I don't care about it at all. In this lifetime, nothing about the Gu family concerns me. The second I got on the bus, I automatically looked for Su Xiawei. Sure enough, Su Xiawei was standing at the back of the bus, and looking right at me, I squeezed my way over to her. Good morning, senior. Su Xiawei's eyes crinkled with a smile. Good morning? I took your hat home with me, senior. I washed it yesterday. It's not dry yet today. I'll give it back to you tomorrow when it's dry. Su Xiawei looked at me and smiled, saying, Sure thing, Mu Chen. Do you have classes this afternoon? I shook my head. No, but I have a part-time job at a restaurant this afternoon. You work part-time? Which restaurant? It's a restaurant called Renjian Yanhuo. You've probably heard of it, right? Su Xiawei paused for a moment. She's way more than just heard of it. That restaurant is owned by her mom. When Su Xiawei and I got off the bus, Su Xiawei asked another question. Do you have to work at Renjian Yanhuo every night from now on? I nodded. Yeah, the shift there is from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Su Xiawei nodded and didn't say anything else. After the two split up, they each headed to school. The whole day today, Guing Han didn't show up to school at all. Of course, I guess for the next few days. She probably won't come to school at all. Chenza has to stay in the hospital for at least 3 days. Then he's supposed to go abroad with his mom soon after. In the past life, Guing Han resented Chenza for leaving without saying goodbye. She couldn't get over it for years. Now she can finally say a proper goodbye to Chenza. When class ended, Shen Haoxuan was gossiping with me, saying, I heard in the gossip group that Chenza from the neighboring science and engineering university is officially dating Guing Han. Someone saw them at the Gu family's hospital. Rumor has it, that Chenza. Shen Haoxuan's voice got softer and softer. He leaned close to my ear and whispered, They say Chenzi had an allergic reaction to some medicine he took. That's why he's in the hospital on an IV, Shen Haoxuan said with a sigh. Who would have guessed, right? These rich family kids are so wild. I was super shocked. Your gossip group even knows stuff like this. You even found out that Chenzi took medicine. Doesn't the Gu family's hospital keep patient info private? Shen Haoxuan said all secretively. Mu Chen, you don't know the half of it. Even though that hospital belongs to the Gu family, there are other shareholders too, you know? Plus, so many guys have a crush on Miss Gu. They're jealous of Chenzi, so they want to dig up all dirt on him. When lots of people work together, there's nothing they can't find out. After hearing what Shen Haoxuan said, I got it right away, because when I was in the hospital in the past life, rumors about me were everywhere too. Stuff like the driver's son is a total gold digger. He's chasing Miss Gu to climb the social ladder. The rumors got even crazier later on. People said my college entrance exam score was fake, that I stole someone else's identity to get into school. I shook my head, sighed, and said to Shen Haoxuan, Don't get involved in this stuff. Just listen and don't spread it. We can't just go around talking about the Gu family like that. Shen Haoxuan nodded while staring at his phone. Don't worry about me. I know what I'm doing. Guing Han didn't come to school. She didn't even go home either. I had 2 more peaceful days, but I ran into Guing Han again pretty soon. This time it was at Worldly Flavors, the restaurant I work part-time at. I was wearing the black server uniform, clearing up plates and tableware. Guing Han came with Song Yutong and Chu Royao, and they headed to the restaurant's private room. On their way to the private room, Guing Han glanced casually around and spotted me carrying plates. Song Yutong said in shock, Qing Han, Mu Chen actually works part-time here. Is he really that short on money? Chu Royao nudged Song Yutong and said, Why do you talk so much? Hurry up. Song Yutong glanced at Guing Han and knew she was in a really bad mood right now, so she didn't say anything else. Guing Han had a really rough past couple of days. Chenze was in the hospital and had been on IV drips for 2 days. The doctor said the medication did quite a bit of damage to his body. He'll need to take good care of himself and recuperate from now on, but he'll definitely be infertile in the short term. The short term the doctor mentioned, actually, refers to 1 or 2 years. But Guing Han knew that in the past life I went a full 5 years without getting her pregnant. If Chenza ends up the same way, she'll find out the truth sooner or later. What's she supposed to explain then? Chenzi was discharged from the hospital today. He went back to the Chen family's home to rest. Guing Han hid the fact that Mrs. Gu drugged him. She didn't know how to explain it to Chenzo, nor did she know how to face the haggard-looking Chenzi More importantly, she suddenly really wanted to see me, watching me from afar carrying plates and humbly explaining dishes to customers. Guing Han suddenly felt a surge of anger in her chest. She put on a cold face, left Song Yutong and Chu Royale behind, and walked straight towards me. I ran into a really difficult middle-aged customer today. She wouldn't order properly and kept asking me instead, "You're new here, right? I've never seen you before. You're a student from the nearby university, aren't you?" I smiled and nodded. "Yes, ma'am. So what would you like to order?" She grinned and said, "Working part-time at a restaurant at such a young age? Are you really that short on cash? Got a lot of student loans, huh? Can you even pay them back on your own?" I could barely keep the smile on my face. I held back my frustration and said, "You don't need to worry about that, ma'am. So you can take a look at what you'd like to eat first. I'll come back later to take your order." With that, I turned to leave, but the customer suddenly spoke up again. "Whoa there. I didn't say I wasn't going to order. What kind of service is this, seriously? I've been working here for 2 days, and this is the first time I've met such a difficult customer." I was about to go get the supervisor when I saw Guing Han walking over with a cold face. She suddenly kicked the woman's table and knocked the whole wooden table over. I stepped back 2 steps and stared at Guing Han in shock. "Ma'am, what are you doing?" I said that as I rushed over to push Guing Han outside. But Guing Han stood in front of me instead and stared at the middle-aged woman with a dark face. "If you want to eat, eat properly. If not, get the hell out of here." The middle-aged woman shot to her feet, pointed at Guing Han. "None of your damn business if I'm eating. How dare you kick my table? Do you even know who I am?" The woman had 2 friends with her. All 3 of them stormed up to Guing Han aggressively. Guing Han had been holding in her anger for days, and she didn't feel like holding back this time. Without saying a word, she threw a punch and slammed it right into the woman's face. I was completely stunned. A full-on brawl broke out right away. Song Yutong and Chu Royale saw what was happening. Song Yutong cursed out loud and rushed over to help immediately without hesitation. Chu Royale followed right behind her, so the scene got even more chaotic. I quickly contacted the shift supervisor. The shift supervisor hurried over with 4 or 5 security guards. It took a ton of effort, but they finally pulled everyone apart. The middle-aged woman was beaten black and blue because Guing Han had only targeted her the entire fight. The middle-aged woman's clothes were all crumpled. She said furiously, "Call the cops! I'm calling the cops!" This caused a huge commotion. Everyone in the restaurant turned to look and whispered to each other about what was going on. After the restaurant manager heard the news, he rushed out of the office in a panic. He immediately spotted Guing Han standing in the middle of the crowd, and his heart skipped a beat. The manager walked quickly up to Guing Han and said with a look of total shock, "Miss Gu, what brings you here all of a sudden today? You didn't even give me a heads up in advance." There was a hint of lingering fear in his tone. After all, a wealthy young lady like Guing Han has a specially reserved, exclusive private box at this restaurant. As a premium member of the restaurant, Guing Han has always been a top priority for the manager. He definitely didn't want to offend this VIP over this unexpected incident. But when the manager's eyes fell on Guing Han, his face went pale in an instant, and cold sweat broke out all over him. He saw Guing Han's hair and clothes were both looking a little messy. She had obviously just been in a fierce fight. Who's that gutsy enough to dare hit the Gu family's eldest daughter? The manager's heart started racing wildly, and he stammered out, "Hey, what on earth is going on here?" The manager's voice was full of panic and worry. He knew very well in his heart, Guing Han is the apple of Mrs. Gu's eye. If Mrs. Gu finds out that her precious daughter got in a fight here, and even got hit on the corner of her mouth, the consequences would be unthinkable. Mrs. Gu would definitely fly into a rage. She might even come over personally to demand an explanation. That middle-aged woman was still yelling aggressively. "So you're the restaurant manager? Perfect, you're just in time. I was just having a nice meal here at your restaurant. But guess what? Your waiter snubbed me, fine, whatever, but his friend even punched and kicked me. I'm calling the police. I'm suing all of you." The restaurant manager frowned and turned to look at me standing nearby. I was just about to speak up and explain when Guing Han stepped in front of me, stared at the middle-aged woman coldly and said, "What does this have to do with the waiter? I wanted to beat you up because you're such an eyesore. You want to sue me? Go ahead and try, then. Song Yutong frowned. She immediately took out her phone and said, all right, enough of this. I'll have my lawyer come over to handle this with you right now. We're hungry. We're going to go eat now. The restaurant manager knew very well, these young ladies are not people you can mess with. He made a quick decision and immediately told the bouncers to take those 3 people to the back office of the restaurant. Then he turned around to face me and said in a slightly stern tone, come here for a second. Listen up, you have to treat Miss Gu properly. No mistakes are allowed at all. Do you understand? I nodded quickly and replied, yes, manager. The manager breathed a small sigh of relief when he saw that, turned around and quickly followed the 3 beaten women and walked into the office together. He knew in his heart, this kind of thing absolutely can't be allowed to blow up. Otherwise, it'll not only hurt the restaurant's reputation, it might also get him into unnecessary trouble. More importantly, he didn't dare offend a big family like the Gu family. So the best solution right now is to start with these 3 assaulted guests. Negotiate with them properly about compensation matters, and try to resolve this issue as soon as possible. Worst case, just pay them more money. It's way better than offending the Gu family. Renjian Yanhuo restaurant is membership only, because it has excellent privacy protection. Many rich people and celebrities love coming here to eat and hold meetings. The meeting rooms here cost 5 figures a day to rent. Lots of people who want to do business with celebrities or get connections with rich people will definitely come here to try their luck. If word gets out that one of their members got beaten at the restaurant, it will hugely damage the restaurant's reputation. The restaurant supervisor followed Manager Wang and asked quietly, Manager, what should we do with the new intern? Manager Wang was really annoyed at this point. Even though this was the guest's fault, that new intern caused trouble on his very first day of work, he said impatiently. Forget it. Settle his salary for him. Tell him not to come back again. The restaurant supervisor nodded. Got it, manager. I'll go handle this right now. The restaurant supervisor came out to find me, but couldn't find me anywhere. He asked around and found out I know Guing Han, and that Guing Han had already called me to the private box. So he went to the door of Guing Han's private box and saw that the box door was closed, and Guing Han's voice could be heard from inside. So what if I beat him up? Mu Chen, you're even scolding me. I was helping you, you know. Did you want him to help you pay off your loan? Huh, so that's the kind of person you are. I stared at her, speechless, and said in a still calm tone, Miss Gu, I don't mean to blame you. It's just that today's incident got way too out of hand. Madam might question me again when I get back. The moment I mentioned Madam, Guing Han slammed her hand on the table all of a sudden, making a loud thud. Song Yutong frowned. Guing Han, calm down. Guing Han let out a cold sneer. She stared at me and asked, Mu Chen, do you really listen to my mom that much? Whatever she tells you to do, you just do it. Looking at how obedient and well-behaved I was, Guing Han was fuming with rage. She thought to herself, too bad he's not a reborn person. He doesn't know Madame Gu set him up in his past life, even hurt his body, and made him infertile. If he knew all that, he would probably never listen to Mother Gu right now. I said with a calm expression, I'm not following Madame's orders. I'm just annoyed, precisely because I don't want Madame to come after me. That's why I hope you don't cause trouble around me. Guing Han, I don't care at all what you did. If you could just stay far away from me, that would be perfect. Guing Han stared at me with red, teary eyes. You're just saying this out of anger. I don't buy it. I always like looking out for him. Stop him from staying up late. Stop him from drinking. Stop him from fighting head-on with Mother Gu. I care about him a lot, too. When he was sick and in the hospital, I took care of him around the clock. He has a place in my heart. I care about him so much. Guing Han sat there, her eyes fixed on me. You're saying this on purpose to upset me, right, Mu Chen? I said with a blank expression. Think whatever you want. Miss Gu, I'm still on shift. I'll get back to work now. With that, I opened the door and walked out. I made eye contact with the restaurant manager standing in the hallway. The manager said awkwardly, Mu Chen, you know Miss Gu. I nodded awkwardly. She's my classmate. The manager thought we looked way more than just classmates, but he didn't ask any more questions. He said with a troubled look, Mu Chen, today's incident got really big. It's really bad for the restaurant's reputation. Our boss doesn't know about it yet, but he will definitely hold us accountable. You're an intern. You don't have to take responsibility for this. but you probably can't work here anymore after this. The manager put it very politely, but I got what he meant. I only worked here for 2 days and got fired. It was unexpected, but also made sense. This was my first part-time job. I never thought it would end like this. I felt a little frustrated, but I pulled myself together quickly. I apologized sincerely to the manager. "I'm so sorry, sir." "You hired me? And I ended up causing you trouble." The manager waved his hand immediately. "Oh, it's fine, no worries. You don't have to apologize. We all know this isn't your fault. But we have no choice. All our members have powerful backgrounds. People in the service industry just have to put up with some unfairness sometimes. Some service industries even have a special grievance award for employees. You can imagine how much crap service workers have to put up with daily." The light in the private room was dim and yellow, as if it was also affected by the depressing atmosphere. Guing Han had a cold look on her face, like an iceberg about to erupt. She had just gotten into a fierce fight. The webbing between her thumb and index finger on her clenched fist had split open from using too much force. Bright red blood slowly oozing out. It looked horrifying. There was a dark bruise on the corner of her mouth, too. That was from when someone accidentally punched her really hard. It was slightly swollen right now, looking a bit scary. When the servers saw this, they quickly got some ice and handed it to her carefully, gesturing for her to put it on her face to reduce swelling. Song Yutong and Chu Royao stood beside her. There were also scratch marks all over their hands and necks. Those were left from the chaos just now, but they were way better off than Guing Han. After all, Guing Han's injuries were all on her face, making them extra noticeable. These two had no injuries on their faces. If you didn't look at the scratch marks on their bodies, other people would never be able to tell that they had just been in a nasty fight. Guing Han casually tossed the ice cube onto the table. The ice cube hit the tabletop, making a crisp clinking sound, which sounded especially abrupt in the quiet private room. Her face grew gloomier and gloomier, and spoke in a cold tone. He clearly saw I fought for him and got hurt this bad, but he didn't even bring me any medicine. Her tone was full of unwillingness and frustration. Even this ice cube was brought by another waiter. He never showed up from start to finish. Guing Han felt like a heavy stone was blocking her chest, and she felt extremely uncomfortable. Her thoughts automatically drifted back to this same time in her past life. I was so clingy to him back then. Once he got injured, I was so anxious that my eyes turned red. Tears were welling up in my eyes, and I couldn't hold back and cried out. I not only rushed to buy medicine immediately, but also carefully applied the medicine for him after I got back. My movements were very gentle, afraid of hurting him even a tiny bit. Even when he was scolded badly by Mother Gu, I would wait obediently and silently at the door. I would comfort him softly as soon as he came out, and give him warmth. I didn't take this part-time job back then. Life was simple and pure. I only had him in my eyes and heart. Guing Han suddenly had a thought in her heart. Too many changes have happened in this life. Everything is totally different from the past life. Could Mu Chen be reborn just like me? As soon as this thought popped up, she denied it right away. No, that's impossible. Guing Han thought to herself subconsciously, if I were really reborn, given how much I hate Mother Gu, I would never agree to live in the Gu family, let alone follow Mother Gu's orders. Just at this moment, Song Yutong looked at Guing Han and frowned slightly. Guing Han, you were really a bit impulsive today. You know that this restaurant is owned by the Su family. You caused trouble here. If they go find your father, it'll be huge trouble. Her voice carried a hint of worry and blame. Guing Han was stunned for a moment. Surprise flashed across her eyes. She couldn't help asking, this restaurant belongs to the Su family. The figure of Su Xiawei automatically popped up in her mind. Which Su family? Could it be the one she knows? The Su family that Su Xiawei is from. Song Yutong nodded upon seeing this. Their family has run catering chains for generations. She basically knows everything about the catering companies in Haicheng. She leaned down slightly and lowered her voice to say, the Su family's main businesses are AI and new energy. They are super famous in these fields, but a few years ago they suddenly stepped into the grain and catering industries. I heard it's because a junior in their family likes it. This restaurant was opened with their investment. I wonder if it has anything to do with Su Xiawei. After all, Su Xiawei's last name is also Su. Coincidences do happen in this world. Su Royao next to them frowned tightly and said hesitantly, that can't be right, can it? The Su family has such huge businesses, involving so many fields. They are such a big and wealthy family. Would they let their kids study agronomy? I heard that Su Xiawei grows peanuts, right? That's way too big a gap. In her understanding, rich family kids